all-inclusive care for the elderly. Morse Life has been awarded the Governor's Gold Seal of Excellence and is a 5-star nursing facility committed to continuous research and training that consistently delivers enlightened senior care. Morse Life also offers concierge care for clients seeking an enhanced level of private home care. For more information or a tour of the campus, please call 561-471-5111 or visit www.morselife.org. Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more? Is the IRS levying your bank account or garnishing your wage? Taxation Solutions protects the future of today's taxpayer and can get you a fresh start. Their staff of professionals have a genuine concern for the IRS issues their clients face. Taxation Solutions have programs to stop the IRS and help you solve your IRS debt, IRS audit, innocent spouse, IRS seizures, offers, and compromise. Taxation Solutions are the leading experts in the industry. They look at each case objectively and honestly to help their clients identify the best solution. Call today for peace of mind and a free consultation at 786-600-4351. Don't stick your head in the sand anymore. Call now, 786-600-4351, or go on their website, taxationsolutions.net. Call 786-600-4351.
And we're back. Oh, are we back? This next guest, I think this next guest should win Father of the Year award, because when we email back and forth all the time. Barry actually not only has South Florida, but he's actually in 4 or 5 of our other cities. And Barry will talk more about his son and his daughter and the sports they play. I love that.
I think that's great.
I think that's wonderful. So, hey, thanks for joining us for the second half of the show. We have with us today
the founder of Taxation Solutions, Barry Fowler.
I know I was lost.
I didn't say we found him. I said the founder. And if you'd like to watch their show live, go to www.taxationsolutions.net. And before we welcome Barry Fowler, let me tell you a little bit about him. Barry is an enrolled agent licensed to represent taxpayers before the Internal Revenue Service and is a long-standing member of several tax industry professional organizations, including the National Association of Enrolled Agents and the American Society of Tax Problem Solvers, just to name a couple. With experience in the tax industry spanning over 30 years, Fowler's expertise in tax resolution, he is a leader in the tax resolution field and has been recognized as one of America's premier experts. That's why he's on our show.
He's a stud.
In IRS relief and tax, and he's been instrumental in helping hundreds of people resolve complex tax issues with the IRS. His office can be reached at a toll-free nationwide number, 888-930-1016. Besides that, he's got huge credentials. So let's say hello to, yes.
Hey, let's welcome a man who we actually call our friend, Mr. Barry Fowler, president of Taxation Solutions. Good afternoon, Mr. Barry.
Good afternoon, Barry.
How are you all doing?
Did you know you were that great?
I had to take a couple of sips of water in between. There was so much.
I don't even know how to follow all that up after that great.
Lots of kudos.
He's got that big cowboy hat. Barry, his corporate offices are in Houston, my old hometown. And anyhow, Barry, how you doing, bro?
Doing great. I feel like it's been a long time since we've been
I know.
It does feel that way, yeah.
I know.
So tell everybody a little bit about Taxation Solutions.
Well, Taxation Solutions is what I would call is my little baby. Yes, we're nationwide, 38 offices. Opened our most recent office over in St. Petersburg and one up in Jacksonville as well. So we've got most of the state covered. I think we're tending to open one up in Pensacola area as well.
Wow.
Our company basically is here to help the American taxpayer beat the IRS. And if somebody owes the IRS money, we're here to help them get their problem solved, if at all possible, settle it for much less than what they owe. And we do that nationwide. We do that for everybody every day.
Wow. You know what I love about Barry?
Everything.
Everything. Aside from that, the fact is that once you talk to Taxation Solutions, you don't have to talk to the IRS. I don't want to talk to the IRS. I don't think anybody wants to talk to the IRS. So they handle it. That's it. You don't have to have a conversation.
Yeah. And that's probably the biggest relief we give to
Yes.
our clients is that they don't have to talk to the IRS. Of course, besides settling their debt.
Yes, that's a big thing, of course.
A lot less than what they owe. Getting their back taxes filed, getting them into compliance and all that, but never having to talk to the IRS. Matter of fact, I just fired a client the other day for picking up the phone and calling the IRS because they completely interfered with what we had going on.
You never want to do
Their
that.
tax problem.
Barry, why would anybody want to do that? Who wants to talk to the IRS?
There's people that get impatient. And they think, okay, because we don't have something going on, we have stuff in the works that it's taking a little bit of time to do. They get impatient, so they decide, okay, I'm going to call the IRS. Well, what happens when you start talking to the IRS, you start telling them things that maybe we don't.
You shouldn't be.
Quite yet. And, when you tell them something, whether it's right or wrong, it's just the way the IRS asks the question, we cannot counteract what you just got done telling them. So, when the IRS asks you a seemingly innocent question, it's not necessarily innocent. It's to find out information.
And I think those conversations are taped.
These guys,
so when you
these
have that
agents are really good at what they do.
You've got to be very careful on how you answer them. And that's why the only people that in my office that deal with our clients or deal with the IRS is enrolled agents, tax attorneys, or CPAs.
Barry, tell everybody what an enrolled agent is.
And he's a licensed enrolled agent.
Well, enrolled agent is actually licensed by the U.S. Department of Treasury to represent taxpayers to the highest level of the IRS. The only place we don't practice is U.S. Tax Court. But that's why I have tax attorneys that work for me. And that's why those guys will deal with the cases that we do have to take to tax court. Hopefully we never get there. But there are a few that we take there because the IRS is wrong.
Getting back to this client you fired, you deal with the IRS all day long.
This is his expertise.
Yes, this is what you do. And you know what to say, what not to say.
What not to say.
I mean, why would anyone want to go up against the IRS by themselves?
Well, people sometimes think that what we do is very, very easy. And, it's kind of like me doing plumbing.
Right.
There may be days I think it's going to be really, really easy, but at the end of the day, once I screw it all up, I've got to call a plumber and let them fix what I messed up. Well, that's kind of what we do. We'll fix what you mess up when you're dealing with the IRS on your own, but we hope that you call us first and let us get in front of the problem and keep you away from the IRS. Now, imagine me doing plumbing.
I was trying to get a picture of that in my mind, Barry. No.
My wife tells me to stay away from it, but if I get in there and I've got a leak and I go in and open up the wall, as soon as I do something, it's a flood in my house. Well, it's the same thing with the IRS. You just opened up the floodgates and let the IRS come into everything.
I like that analogy. That was a good one.
Well, here's another one. You can either pay me now or you're going to be paying me later, right, Barry?
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of times you pay me a lot more later because I've got to fix problems that you've created with the IRS as well.
Right. So, can you explain how taxpayers can settle their IRS debt for less than the full amount? Because aside from just speaking to the IRS, the taxpayer doesn't have to speak to the IRS. You could settle a lot of times their debt for so much less.
And you want the easy explanation for that?
Sure.
Whatever you want. However you will, I'm with you.
Taxation Solutions, and let us deal with it. The way we do it is we actually sit down with every one of our clients, whether it's in an office, by phone, and we talk about what their situation is and what they have available to pay the IRS. Now remember, not everybody can qualify for settling for less than what they owe. Everybody's circumstances is different. But we walk through a complete financial analysis. My tax consultants, before we'll ever take anybody on, will go through a complete financial analysis to see what their position is and to see approximately what we can settle for. Now, we always say approximate because people don't always tell us everything. They don't tell us about their 401k or their IRAs or what the true value of their house is. So we've kind of got to work through this. But once my enrolled agents and my tax attorneys get their hands on all this and we do the complete financial picture, we know exactly what they qualify for. And then we throw in a lot of other our techniques to reduce those assets so that they're not available to the IRS to settle the debt, so we can get it settled for even less.
Right, the less you have, the better off you are. The less
Exactly.
you show.
And we had a gentleman in here that owed right around $356,000.
Aye.
And we settled him for about $3,500 and some odd dollars.
Wow.
Because we can use the techniques that we have to help solve their problems and to walk their financial assets through the right way. Now imagine calling the IRS and they're going to ask similar questions that we do. Now, the difference between us and them asking the questions is we're on your side.
They're not
We're
on
gonna
our side. That's for sure.
We're going to find a way to help you reduce those assets in a legal way and to get it down to the minimum amount that you have to pay the IRS. IRS, on the other hand, is using that as a roadmap to find your assets. So it's like your GPS. It can get you there, and the IRS is going to find everything you have from every one of your bank accounts, equity in your house, your vehicles, you name the assets, your boats, whatever you may have. You just gave them the roadmap to go find them. And what do you think they want? They want to get paid, and they want to get paid 100%, not the 15% or 50%.
Right, and they don't care if you have the money or you don't have the money.
Exactly.
Wow.
You know what? I tell you what I really like about Barry and his company is you don't oversell. You don't make horrendous
And he turns away
promises.
people if he can't help
I-
them.
we know that
He's
for a
actually
fact,
turned
yes.
away people, which is amazing because
So
most people
we love
would not do
about
that.
you. I mean, I've seen guys say, "Oh, we'll get you, a nickel on the dollar."
Pennies on the dollar.
First of all, you don't even know that really till you get into their whole profile and their story, right, Barry?
No, we definitely don't. When somebody calls us and talks to one of my tax consultants, we have no idea whether our clients or future clients have $1 million in the bank or have $1 in the bank or maybe negative bank account. And we've got to sit down and ask the questions and walk through it to be able to make a determination. And even then, like we mentioned before, not everybody will tell us everything when we're on the phone with them and talking with our tax consultants and having our first meetings. We have to drag certain things out of people, and we know how to ask for it and know how to find it because we've got to be able to get our roadmap so that we can help everybody, through their tax problem. And one of the biggest things is people ask us all the time is, can you really do this? Yes, we do this every single day. But it's not an instant solution. It's not like going online and ordering from Amazon or somebody, you can have it in 2 days. No. This takes us weeks, months, and in some cases, a year, maybe even 2 years to get to the full resolution. But we walk through everything stage by stage, and we need everybody's help.
However long it takes you, that kind of puts a stop to everything with the IRS while you're negotiating with them, doesn't it?
As long as the client is working with us, and as long as we are able to work with the IRS, and some agents are more difficult than others, and some of that reason that they're more difficult than others is because they've already been trying to work with our client, and our client has misled them or promised stuff and broken promises. We try not to break any promises with the IRS. We try to make sure that we're meeting deadlines. And so that's why we ask for a lot of cooperation from our clients so that we can get them there.
So basically, what you're saying, Barry, is as soon as you hear from them, they should not wait around to
No, they have
handle
to
it
call them
themselves.
immediately.
They should call your company right away.
On that note, give everybody your phone number.
They should definitely call us. Check us out online at taxationsolutions.net. And you're going to have to give the number because I don't have any numbers in front of me today.
You don't.
You know what? I don't even know if I do.
Okay, well, you can look it up. And Barry, tell everybody, once a taxpayer owes the IRS, what can the IRS do to them?
It's the question. Bigger question can be is what can the IRS not do to you? What everybody has to understand is they are the biggest, the baddest, and most feared collection agency across the country, probably anywhere in the world. They can reach and find you. They find assets, which is really amazing that even our clients don't even tell us about, that maybe they owned a year or two ago, maybe they disposed of it, maybe they've hidden it from us. But our IRS knows a lot more than we could ever tell you that they owe. They know.
Well, the phone number is, because it's on our screen, 888-930-1016. Let's go to break. When we come back, let's hear, I love hearing the stories, the success stories that Barry's had. So when we come back, we'll talk about some of those.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more? Is the IRS levying your bank account or garnishing your wage? Taxation Solutions protects the future of today's taxpayer and can get you a fresh start. Their staff of professionals have a genuine concern for the IRS issues their clients face. Taxation Solutions have programs to stop the IRS and help you solve your IRS debt, IRS audit, innocent spouse, IRS seizures, offers, and compromise. Taxation Solutions are the leading experts in the industry. They look at each case objectively and honestly to help their clients identify the best solution. Call today for peace of mind and a free consultation at 786-600-4351. Don't stick your head in the sand anymore. Call now, 786-600-4351, or go on their website, taxationsolutions.net. Call 786-600-4351.
And we're back. We're here with the founder of Taxation Solutions, Barry Fowler, our friend. So, Barry, I love hearing when you talk about success stories because this whole show is actually about not going up against the IRS because you don't stand a chance by yourself. The only way you have a chance is with a company like Taxation Solutions. And I love hearing your success stories. Tell us one of your recent success stories.
Barry? Did we lose Barry?
You guys there?
Oh, you there?
Okay. Did
I'm
you
here.
did you get to hear that?
I heard your question.
Okay.
Okay. I just got this in the other day, and
That's
sometimes
recent.
I'm even amazed at what we do. But we had a client that was actually in New York, and he owed $100,000, and we actually settled it for $1,000.
That is unbelievable.
Jeez. Wow.
It just, the guy was just amazed at what we could do. It took us a little while to get it done, but we were able to get it done. I had another client that owed $51,500, and we settled it actually for 13% at $6,900.
Wow.
It's amazing what he
And-
does.
That is.
Why do you think people get so behind in their taxes?
Well, most of the time, it's that snowball effect. It's the very first return. Maybe they're in business for themselves, so they're operating as a consultant, and they get to that very first return, and all of a sudden they owe $10,000 or $15,000 that they weren't prepared for. They didn't do the estimated tax payments. They weren't prepared to pay the self-employment tax, much less the federal income tax.
Right, like if you get a 1099, a lot of times, you don't account for that money, for the taxes that you have to take out.
That's exactly the case. And so they don't file that return. Well, now they owe that $10,000 or $15,000, and the IRS adds penalty and interest and everything else to it. So once they eventually file that return, they're going to owe quite a bit anyway. And then they look at the next year and they go, "Oh my gosh, I didn't send in last year's, so I'm not going to send in this year's." And then it's 2 or 3 years down the road, and the IRS is backed up to that 5 year ago first return, and they assessed it. But they don't just assess it at what the tax would have been. The IRS assesses it on that full 1099 income as single, no exemptions, no other deductions. And now that $10,000 is almost $100,000 with
Wow.
interest and everything else. And now you got to look at each year coming forward. So, that first year is where it starts, and it just keeps getting worse. So you don't have people filing those returns, and they just wait and they wait and they wait, and all of a sudden they have a huge tax liability. Our first thing that we do for most of those people is get in and file those returns, get it back down to a manageable number. So some of these that you hear that we settled about the cases, you take the person that owed $356,000. Well, that was $356,000 after we filed the tax returns. So you can imagine he was dealing with almost $1 million liability.
Wow.
And so we've actually taken his liability from $1 million to settle for that $3,500.
That's amazing. That's unbelievable.
What did you do? Did you abduct the kids from the IRS agent?
Barry is friends at the IRS.
Wow. That is just amazing, Barry.
Well, the first thing is we've got to sit down with the clients and work with them and figure out how they got into the situation, and then how we're going to resolve it step by step. So the first step is filing those returns. Let's get them current. Let's get the returns filed the way they're supposed to be filed, and then get the IRS to accept those returns. And then after that part is done, then we move into what we would call the settlement stage, whether we're going to settle on an offer and compromise, or do we need to do a payment plan? And there's multiple different ways we can do payment plans, from a full pay payment plan to partial pay. And then some of our clients just are retired, are flat broke, and we can just get them into a currently non-collectible status.
Yeah, what happens if you can't pay? If you have no money, you really can't pay it.
Well, that's where that currently non-collectible status could come into play, especially if they're retired and there's got no money coming in and they don't have any extra money coming in the foreseeable future. We may put them into a currently non-collectible so the IRS won't mess with them. But we'll only use that where we're dealing with possibly a retired person, doesn't have a lot of money, doesn't have a lot of assets, and don't see any increases coming in. Now, you take a younger person, and what we want to do is get this thing settled, get them in compliance, and then get that offer and compromise in so that they can pay maybe that 1%, maybe that 10%, maybe that 20%, whatever the number comes out to that we can get it down to is what we're going to do.
Barry, what's that forgiveness program I keep reading about? But it's always an ad, though, so I don't trust it at all.
Well, a lot of times what you're going to hear is, okay, we've got the new Fresh Start program.
That's what it is.
What that is
an air freshener?
an air freshener, exactly. It actually stinks really, really bad for our clients. I don't recommend the Fresh Start program, because basically what that is you might as well call the IRS and tell them you're going to full pay your debt, and just tell me how long it's going to be and how much I have to pay, and that's what you're going to pay.
Wow, that's a real hard one to do, huh?
Yeah, and if you want to do that, good luck to you. You can full pay your debt, and the IRS is going to tell you how much you are going to pay.
Well, people would think that it's like a fresh start, that they wouldn't have to pay their taxes.
Yeah, right.
It's very misleading.
It is. And
what we try to do is make the Fresh Start program work for our clients, and what that means to us in using the IRS's Fresh Start is we turn it around to be, let's get it down to what you can afford to pay, whether it's partial pay or whether it ends up being the offering compromise, we're going to get it down to what we say you can pay, not what the IRS is saying you're going to pay. And that's why we have our techniques and our guidelines that we go through. And every one of my enrolled agents and every one of my tax attorneys is very well versed in getting everybody's payments down to something that they can actually afford.
Barry, do you charge on a flat rate or an hourly rate?
I charge on a flat rate. There are some we win, there are some we lose. And I don't mean cases with the IRS.
No, I knew what you meant.
My guys may quote a fee, and that's what we live with.
I see.
And if that means I put 10 hours into doing somebody's work for a little bit of money, it happens. I think we charged a lady that was working on a state program $100, and I end up spending 30 hours.
Oh,
wow.
Case.
How long have you been in business?
I have been in business, and actually I've been doing taxes since I've been knee-high to a grasshopper now.
Oh, 3 years now.
That's Texan talk.
That's right. No, the reason why I asked, Barry, is because I'm going to tell people this, because Rene and I do marketing, and we've talked to other tax companies. It is amazing how many of them go out of business in the first 2, 3, 4 years. They don't survive. They didn't collect.
Well, they make promises that they can't keep.
Exactly. So here's someone like you who've been basically doing this all your life. That means you're doing something right for your clients. Wouldn't you agree?
We do everything we can for our clients. We go to bat for them. We're here to help everybody get the solution they qualify for with the IRS. And whatever resources or needs we have, we take care of it. And I have a great example of this, is that I had a client actually up in Indiana, and I didn't have an office in Indiana at the time, and they were going through an audit, and they're being subpoenaed to come in and supply paperwork and everything else. My tax attorney out of Houston.
Oh, we hear the music. Barry.
I'm so sorry.
Before I can talk to Barry forever, let's give his phone number one more time.
888-390.
No, it's not. You're dyslexic. It's 930.
Let me start over again. 888-930-1016. Or you can go to taxationsolutions.net.
These are the people to go to if you have a tax problem.
Barry's with us every month.
Thanks for calling in, Barry.
Man, we love you, bro, and I'll talk to you during the week.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Okay, I loved it, man. So, hey, that was Barry Fowler.
Taxation Solutions.
We will be back next Monday.
Yeah.
From 4 to 5 with more Ask the Experts. Thanks, Ken.
We're out.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Experts show with Steve-O and Rene. Tune in every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. while some of the top local experts in their field from Broward and Palm Beach counties educate you in the areas of law, health, financial, and home improvement. You can also call our offices at 888-574-6999 to become an expert on our show. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsor